All right, let's get ready to start. And a one,
All
and
right.
a two, and a. Oh, here's the dial screen. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a last minute, hastily cobbled together episode of Star Citizen Live, out of character. I'm your host, Jared Disco Lando Huckabee. And if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take about an hour, most times. Sometimes it's a little shorter because of meetings and stuff, out of the end of our week, and we hang out with you, the Star Citizen community. Now on Star Citizen Live, sometimes we collect questions from the community and we pose them to our developers, sticking their proverbial feet to the fire. That's not going to be what this show is today. So if that's what you're looking for, this is your heads up. Sometimes we make a person work for an hour and we watch them and make little snide remarks and I interfere and make their work less than it was, and then they get upset with me at the end of the hour because it's like hard enough to make something in an hour without me getting in there and telling them to do a loop-de-loop in the racetrack. It's not going to be one of those shows. It's going to be the kind of show we haven't done in a long time. It's going to be a Meet the Devs. It's going to be a casual conversation with somebody that chances are you probably haven't met yet. They're relatively new to the Star Citizen family. And with that, let me click the button here and bring them up on the screen. Damien, how you doing?
Hello.
So,
Pretty good.
Damien, you are... Well, you tell people. I'm not going to do it. That's why we brought you on the show. Who are you? What do you do for Star Citizen?
All right. So I'm lead character artist working mainly on PU, Star Citizen.
What's a lead character artist do?
All right. So the goal is to create like content, like creating outfits, creature. One day it's gonna happen. Characters for PU.
Now, folks who have watched Star Citizen Live for a while, who have followed Star Citizen for a while, may go, isn't Jeremiah Lee the lead character artist? Well, I'm sad to say we finally kicked that dude in the butt. Sent him packing. He's gone. He's out of here. He went over to the Squadron 42 team. So Jeremiah has been in charge of the Squadron 42 character art team for most of this year, which left a wonderful opening for us to bring in our new friend here. Damon, when did you start? You started back in what, March?
Yeah, that was in March. Yeah,
March.
This year.
You actually you came to the LA studio like your very first week, and we got to meet you, didn't?
Yeah, exactly. That was the second week, and onboarding for a week in LA.
We don't get to hear this kind of story very often. So tell me what your first. Well, since you came to LA in your second week, tell me what your first 2 weeks. So you've been around. Well, you've been around the industry, and we'll talk about your industry history in a second here. But let's start with Star Citizen. What were your first 2 weeks like?
That was intense. That was pretty intense. That was like, it's an onboarding. So I had like to meet so many people from UK, LA, Montreal at first. And then second week, we had to go to LA, meet all the tech art team, onboarding for a week. That was pretty intense, but really cool to see all the people working on this project. Pretty nice.
So they brought you into Turbulent for a week. Let you barely get to know some people, say hi. Oh, this is where my desk is and whatnot. And then they put you on a plane and sent you to LA in your second week.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
is that normal amongst your game development experience?
I mean, that was the first time. I did enjoy it. I won't complain. Going for like, it was in March. So living in Montreal, it's like, I don't know, it was probably minus 20 degrees Celsius. So going to LA for a week, having like 20, 25 degrees Celsius, that was pretty good.
When you were in LA, we took you to one of my favorite haunts in down in Santa Monica, because I knew I was
Yeah.
moving. It was one of my last in March. It was one of my last weeks before I moved to the Manchester here in the United Kingdom. Do you still have the tiki mug that I gave you?
Of course. Of course.
Can you produce
I
it
thought
now
bringing
on the
it.
spot?
I thought to bring it to the studio, but I
Okay.
didn't. But yeah, I have both. Yeah, still.
Well, it looks like you have an old coworker in chat. Ubi_Montreal_Legion says, Jared, can you say hello to Damien from me, Patrick, a former coworker with Damien back in 2011? Do you
Okay.
remember Patrick?
Probably. I mean, I need to see a face, but there is so many Patrick.
Harsh.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Oh, you be so easy. Yeah. Of course I know Patrick. Yeah, I remember now. We worked together.
He says he was from Wild Game Studio.
Yeah, that's it. I remember. Of course.
It's okay. I have word production anomia. It's a low level aphasia that means that I can't produce the names for things very often.
Yeah.
I've been dealing. I was diagnosed with it really early on this year, and it's been a challenge this entire year. Just like I'm doing one of these shows. Like, people don't see this. We'll do a little insight. This is gonna be a weird show, everybody. We said it at the front. I'm gonna say it again. This is gonna be a weird show. I have I have stick-it notes that are stuck to my monitor here with the names of people. It's because in January or February I was doing a show with John Crew, and I forgot John Crew's name, who I have done 40, 50 things with. And when I'm like, hey, so what? Like for 15 minutes, I didn't say his name while I was asking him questions and what's not. So that was like, I'm gonna go to the doctor. I'm gonna go to the doctor. And they're like, yeah. You. It was like 3 months of tests, but it's like, yeah, you've got this thing. I'm like, oh, at least we know what it is. Now everybody just makes fun of me for it. If you pay attention to ISC over 2022, you may have seen it a couple times where I say the wrong name for a thing, and Amanda is just like throwing notes at the bottom of the screen, like, okay, we have to clean up for Jared. I'm trying, everybody. So, all right. So this is a show where we're basically just going to talk about you and get to know you and how you came on, because the character team is a well, it's not mince words. The character team has a lot to do. Between several different alien races to flesh out for the present universe, to building the fashion styling for multiple planets across 100 potential star systems before all is said and done. So like that, it's and then just overall the weird random things that come up, like, hey, let's do weird bear mannequin helmets for Halloween this year. It's like you this team that you're building out in Turbulent really has their work cut out for them. So let's start at the beginning here. Let's roll back. How did you get involved in the game industry?
All right. So okay. So yeah, but my first experience was mainly advertisement and not really movies, but that was mostly advertisement. I was working in France, and then I came here, and that was like the first company called Y Game Studio, where I met Patrick. Was like a video game company, and I started as character artist at that place. And then, I mean, that was my first experience in the game industry. And then that was after a year and a half, I went to another company called CAE. That was like a military company. I was mostly not doing characters anymore, just at home mostly. So after a few years, I really missed doing characters. So I had the opportunity of working at Behavior as a character artist working on Dead by Daylight. So I've been like, I worked for Behavior for 7 years, working like 7 years on Dead by Daylight. I was like the only character artist at first, and then was like after a few times, like we hire more and more character artists, and now they have like an army of character artists who were pretty.
Yeah, they do, because the cranky
Yeah.
characters out left and right. But I'm so happy you mentioned Dead by Daylight. We don't get a whole lot of chances to talk about the history of Star Citizen on this show. You know, ISC is always looking forward. For the most part, SCL is always usually looking just a little bit further ahead. So we don't get a lot of chance to talk about the history. Dead by Daylight is a very popular game that's out there that's developed by a company called Behavior. Behavior was one of CIG's earliest partners in creating the earliest versions of Star Citizen. Behavior was responsible for the hangar module. Behavior was responsible for many of the earliest assets that would eventually become parts of the persistent universe. So like this, and at Behavior, there were two people especially. A great team, but there were two people that always stood out. And remember, I just said I had word production anomia, which I'm realizing I just set myself up for remembering a name. There's Dave Richard, and there's a gal, and I'm struggling to remember her name. Who was Dave Richards like number two? Like I never saw Dave Richard where this person wasn't with him. If you had to guess.
Number two.
Yeah.
After Dave Richard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Working on Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Specifically
at Behavior, she probably went over to Dead by Daylight too. But
okay, I don't know.
Dave Richard specifically, if you've ever played Hyper Vanguard Force, Dave Richard was the one who coded and created Hyper Vanguard Force in his free time. Like there was just a day, we were just having our weekly sync meeting with our buds at Turbulent, and Dave is like just giddy. He is like shaking in this meeting, and I'm like, hey, I'm sending him a message. I'm like, hey, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just waiting. I just gotta wait. I gotta wait. Wait until all the work stuff, the scheduled work stuff is done. And so we get to the end of the meeting, and then he's like, hey, before everybody goes, I got something I wanted to show everybody. And he just presents this fully built, completely articulated web game, based on the old 1941 shooter style, Galaga, Space Invaders, Gladius, whatever. This Hyper Vanguard Force, complete with sprite versions of many of our ships and everything. And we're all just like, you just did this on your own? He's like, yeah, I like making games. And he's like, you use it however you want. And it was just like, okay. So it was a wonderful moment in Star Citizen's history, and I just always be grateful to Dave Richard and his enthusiasm for the project. He was also the one. There's an early hangar flare. Modern day players may go, hangar flare. Way back when we had this hangar module you could load in and just kind of stare at your ships in, but there was a bunch of flare for it. And one of the flares is this locker from another universe, where inside the locker from another universe is a bottle of Cloud CT Lando Fever syrup. And that was an homage to me. Christine Marsh! That was her name.
Oh, okay, Christine Marsh. Okay. Yeah.
Christine Marsh was awesome. Loved Christine Marsh. So yeah, Christine Marsh and Dave Richard were like the dynamic duo as far as I'm concerned back in those days, and they're the ones who put that in. Before I worked here, it was them doing that, and them reaching out and saying, "Hey, we recognize your contributions in the community." That made me first think maybe this was a place I wanted to work. So I mean, literally, like Dave Richard and Christine Marsh start the initial flame that eventually gets me to come here. So
it's okay.
So there's some really old Star Citizen history from like 2014, 2015 there. So let's talk a little bit about your time at Behavior then, since I've just made this whole thing. You're working to launch a new game, and you're the only character artist.
Yeah. We started we were like 20 people at first. When I've been hired at Behavior, working on Dead by Daylight, we were like 20 people. and I was the only character artist. That was, not, tough. Okay, I'll say it. It was tough at the beginning because the timeline of creating a character was super tight, and we had a specific art direction at that time, and then we had another partner called Starbreeze at that time, and the direction changed, so we had to change the characters again. The look of the character, the direction changed at that point. So, but like slowly and slowly, the game just released, and we had the blast with Twitch and other platform, and that was really crazy. Like at that point, the game was just like we shipped the game, and then we are working on something else. But it's not what happened. So at that point, like we created the store, we hired more people and to help us to creating that store and creating all those different outfits. And it started there. Like after that, we were like shipping weeks after weeks and months after months, new killers, new survivors, new outfits. So but it was really, really a good experience for me, just getting into a live game. I would like creating contents and stuff. That was really good, really, really good.
Don Steeler in the chat says, "Sure, it was tough, but it probably built character." I tried, Don Steeler. I tried. Christine Marsh did not appear on ATV. Probably no. I don't think Christine Marsh appeared on ATV, not on RTV. But when we used to do those, we would occasionally do little remotes. If you like the news from around the world or whatever we called it, where we check in with the studios. She and Dave did an occasional webcam call into ATV. Way back in the day. It's hard. Coincidentally enough, as part of an internal discussion, we had somebody tally the number of videos that I have made for CIG, where I don't make anything by myself, but where I was the principal creative lead, which is what my title is now. But and it's over 1,100. So in 8 years, I made 1,100 videos just for CIG. Wow. And so I reserve the right to not completely remember that 100%. But I'm pretty sure I have a pretty strong memory of Christine and Dave sitting on a tandem webcam giving us a news from around the world update on ATV. It's possible we recorded it and it never went out too. We also made those are just the ones that we released. There were a number of videos we did not release. Second episode of Game Commander. We did a pilot for something called Verse Busters once. We tried a lot of things. No, I didn't work here during Wingman's Hangar, Kemi, so I'm not counting those. Those weren't videos I made. One more thing before we move on from Dead by Daylight, because I really enjoy it. Were you there in recent years? They've done a lot of licensed characters, Resident Evil stuff now. Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Were you still there when all the licensed stuff started?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Were there any favorite characters? You're like, oh man, I get to make a 3D version of Freddy Krueger or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, Freddy Krueger, I did it. That was one of the first licenses we worked on. And that I did the Freddy Krueger. I did the creature from Stranger Things as well. The first one we had like the model that Netflix used for Stranger Things, but we had like converted into a video game. So that was cool. I mean, there is some like companies that it was super easy to work with. Some others that are like so picky and annoying. That was really painful sometimes.
We got no car in this race. Dish. No, I'm just kidding. Galactica, our social media manager, says that Pyramid Head is the best killer.
Dead, yeah, was nice, super nice to work on this guy as well. That was one of the artists that worked on this character. We had like it was super cool to work on all those like different licenses. It's cool, but like we had so many the more and more licenses to work on that sometime for like in one chapter we had like maybe 2 or 3 characters and working on different licenses, and that was painful, like all the feedbacks and stuff, and the timeline was also super tight. So having those feedbacks sometimes we're like, okay, but man, there is so many things that we need to change. It's gonna be intense, but I mean, we like it worked at the end. It worked, so
well,
it was good.
Before we're going to move on from the behavior and the Dead by Daylight guys, but for any of you who are watching, you know how much I enjoy throwing Twitter waves at people. If you want to, if you're so inclined, look up Dave Richard on Twitter. It's deviousness Q something or other. That's Dave Richard, and if it says devious whatever, that's the right guy. And just tell him that the Disco Lando misses you. He was a really good guy. I haven't talked to him in a while. Your mic is trying to phase out of reality. Who? My mic? Your mic? His mic?
My mic?
Whose mic? Third base. Sorry, that's a really old joke. Yeah. Okay. So, from behavior, did you come straight here from behavior, or was there someplace in between?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So okay. So we don't need to talk about why you left and whatever. Those things don't interest me. What drew you to Star Citizen? Like you've been in this industry for a while. You're looking for a new opportunity, and of all the choices, I mean, Montreal is a heck of a market for looking for game developer positions. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we partnered with Turbulent. There is because the opportunities there are just tremendous. You get some really quality people, not like J Lee quality, but better. He's in South Korea right now. He's not watching me. What drew you to Star Citizen?
All right, so how it happened, like Pierre-Luc contacted me, and
I'm sorry, who did?
All these things, Pierre-Luc.
Okay, Pierre-Luc
and Guillaume. So they contacted me, and then in a week, like everything happened. So I had an interview with them, and they talked about the project and what they wanted to do with the like for character on Star Citizen, and I think really the things that really helped me to decide, it's like they really told me that you have like carte blanche. You can do whatever you want, and you have like all the character team for you, and you can do all the outfits. There is so many things with Star Citizen. You said it like earlier, like there is all the different planets, and we need to populate all those areas with location and all that stuff. And so there is so many opportunity to create like outfits, faction, creature. So that challenge really drove me. Like it was something that I was like, it's so big that I need that challenge in my life. That challenge. So yeah, and the funny things is like when I was working at Behavior, I think been there in 2015, something like that. So Star Citizen was still like the project that Behavior worked on at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was super interested about this game at that time. So I was like, oh my god, it's super sci-fi and there is so many characters. I want like in the future I want to work on to that game as well. And it happens. It's funny that after 7 years, that now I'm working at Turbulent, working on Star Citizen. So it's a funny story, and I'm really happy to like. There is so many challenges that we can have. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah, it's you said something. It's like, yeah, come here and do whatever you want. It's
pretty much.
It is a we hear something. I've been here for the better part of a decade now. One of the few positions in the company that talks to every single department in the company. It's yeah, there are between Toast and I. It's a guy named Stephen Cam. We're considered the tribal knowledge people, just because we have some pretty decent memories, not for names, but pretty decent memories, and we have to talk to everybody about everything at some point. So it's just usually faster to come to one of us instead of trying to track down the person you're looking for. That phrase, you come and do whatever you want, is oh, I'm hearing myself twice. There you go. It's a dangerous double-edged sword with Star Citizen. Because it is an invitation of opportunity. It is. You're not going to get to do every single thing you want, but what it means is that anything is on the table. If you come with an idea, and you come and you bring with that idea passion and intent and solid creative vision, and also it helps to tie it in with the lore in a lot of cases. You have a pretty good shot at getting CR or somebody to go, yeah, all right, let's do that.
Just do that, yeah.
And it's one of the things I've come to really enjoy about my time here, is that is that openness to the better idea. The show seems to be Jared themed. It's my show. Backlog says this show seems to be Jared. I saw that. But it's and I see that as a draw for a lot of people. But then the flip side of it is that when you can do anything you want and whatever, it's the challenge of prioritizing. It's the challenge of what to do first. And stuff like that. So it's have you found that in your 6 months?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, that's it. Like we have a lot of things to do, but in the same time, there is a lot of constraint as well. It's already in the game. Constraint for the customization, constraint for all the stuff, and you need to deal with those things. So it can be sometimes frustrating, but at the same time, we have like a lot of opportunities. Like we have all the different team and people that are like here to help to help with the vision. So no, it's cool. I mean, there is so many frustrating, but at the same time, we are all working together on this project, and we all finding all different solutions. So it's pretty good.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here. You said the invitation that so many people get is you come in and do the thing you want. What is the thing that you want? And I want to preface this, not the thing that is on your docket right now, not the thing that you're working on or the thing that you're going to work on next. This is when you're here long enough and you've built enough cloud and you've got your team going and the schedules align and production allows. What are the things that you want to bring to Star Citizen?
Like right now, I feel like there is a kind of I won't say lack of vision, but it's more like a lack of a long-term vision. And I feel like for creating like contents in general, you need that certain vision of like what's happening in a year or 2 years, and what we can like creating in terms of like faction, new creature or whatever. So like what I'm like we planning. I'm not the only one. Like we have like a new producer, character artist here in Montreal, concept artist as well. So like all together, we're kind of like building that process and that production that from the beginning we know already what's going to happen in 6 months, in a year, and slowly getting the concept 3D and then take art and like every disciplines. So what I want is really streamlines all those different departments and creating that that process, that super going super smooth and everything. So that's my plan in a way, that I really want, like, let's say every quarter we release like a bunch of characters, but a lot, not just like 2 or 3 characters. I want, like, maybe, I don't know, I won't say anything because I don't want to throw me in the bus, throw under the bus. But my goal is, of course, getting a bigger team, a core team here in Montreal, UK. So and yeah, and that's it. And after we're gonna have like all this process streamlined on every department. That's my goal. I want that. I want the same things I kind of created with behavior on Dead by Daylight. Is it streamlined also this process with having like a big character team, and at the end just like creating content, creating outfit for like the community, for the players, helping the location probably as well. Like the location, I'm sure they need a lot of characters for the mission, so that's my plan as well, to help them. So yeah, it's a lot of things, but I'm sure it's gonna happen. I'm sure. I'm really confident about that.
Well, having seen some of the stuff you've already done, you got a good start. Let's take a look at what chat's saying. Chat, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can submit questions of your own. Just preface the question with the word question in capital letters surrounded by brackets. That's going to help me pick it out from the rest. If you're watching on the YouTube replay, sorry, you had something better to do. I mean... let's see. Kestrel says every single department in the company except HR. Nobody talks HR. I'll let you in on it. I'll let you in on one of my oldest internal jokes. Here, Kestrel. I have threatened to do every department in video game development. It's like for SCL, for ISC, wherever I can fit them in, I will highlight and discuss and educate on every single department in game dev. I had a boss. I've had a couple bosses in my time here. Some you've met, some you haven't met. And I had a new boss start the week I did an hour-long show with the IT guys. You might remember in SCL where I had the IT guy from LA and the IT from Austin and the IT from Manchester and the IT from Frankfurt. And let's just say that chat wasn't super receptive to that show because they weren't learning about the hot new feature that week. And that was the my brand new boss had started that week. And so I love the show. It was a great show. It accomplished all my goals. And I walk out of the stage and I literally walk up and I've seen my brand new boss for the very first time. He goes, "Oh, hey, Jared, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey," he goes, "Hey, step into my office. I had a question for you." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I step into his office. Very first conversation I've had with this guy. And he goes, Did we do a show with the IT people?" And I said, "Yep." And he goes, "Did people seem to like it?" I'm like, "Nope." And he goes, Why did we do it?" I'm like, "Because they're incredibly important. They're essential to making video games, and they never and I've done like 1,400 hours of content at this point, and they never get one anywhere else. So I spent one on them, and I'll do it again." And he was just like, "Oh, I respect that. All right, cool." And and that was that. That's my setup, Kestrel, to saying that the last threat is the last joke is that my last show will be with HR. The last video that I produce for CID will be the exit interview with HR. We'll film it, we'll produce it, we'll share that, and we'll explore how HR in game development works. That's been my internal joke for forever. Jarnator found the video that Christine March was in. It was a 2014 CitizenCon video. So, like I said, it all goes through the same pipeline, the same process I used to make ISE is one that I used to make CitizenCon stuff. It all blurs together in the thing. Let's see what else the chat has. Will we ever be able to play as alien races? We've never said anything to deny otherwise. So I want to say that I'm using that very specific wording. We have never said you won't be able to. And that's all we're committing to.
It's
right?
It's a good way to say it.
Let's see. What are you working on right now?
All right, it's super boring right now. I'm fixing bugs.
Fixing
No, I'm
characters
kidding.
have bugs?
Yeah, bug the textures and clipping because the customization is really intense. So we are working on this like sometimes, time to time. But there is other. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can talk about it, but let's say let's keep the surprise. But yeah.
Type it to me in Teams. Don't type it in Zoom. Type it to me in Teams, and I'll tell you if you can share it.
All right.
Let's see. Can we get a plaque up in New Babbage Hospital 4-5 for the 100 people who were in the morph stream? Talk to your community managers because I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. What else do we got? What's my favorite panel for this year's CitizenCon? That's a hard one. I think the sleeper panel. I think the panel that it doesn't have the best visuals, but it's got the most important information is the one on resource management. If I'm allowed to have an opinion, it's not to say the other ones aren't doing. I put CitizenCon this year is the 7 best stories we can put together. Right now with the state of development and the way it is right now, I think they're all really good. I'm really proud of all of them right now. But I think make sure you pay attention to the resource management one. A lot of misconceptions that players have about how things work and stuff like that. I think will hopefully be cleared up in that one. Let's see. Oh, you typed nothing. Let me see the thing you typed. Oh yeah, we've talked about that, Damien. We've talked about that before. Yeah. So what Damien was talking about, and I'll let him talk about it, is the rarity system for loot, for character items and stuff, rare items, epic items, stuff like that. Not rarity in stats and stuff, but in how hard they are to find and acquire and stuff. We actually have some version of that already in with the loot system right now. The Halloween event coming up has loot. Loot that's considered legendary loot, and loot's like considered rare and stuff like that, harder to find and stuff like that. So, yeah. Let's see. Is there a particular piece of armor or clothing or whatever that you're that you're really enjoying right now? That somebody's working on, an outsourcer or something that you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, there is one, like, a concept artist worked on a specific armor, and I think it's gonna be it's gonna help for the gameplay wise and design and stuff. So I think this one's pretty cool. The Zeus outfits was really nice to work on as well, even though I just adjust some textures and stuff. But I mean, there is so many armor in the game. They have a cool design. So it's kind of hard to say which one is the best, which one is I don't know.
Ibia 8938 says, do you anticipate ever being able to change the size build of our characters beyond facial features? We've addressed this a couple times over the course of our history, Ibia. The short answer is probably not, and that comes to a question of metrics, because we are building a first-person universe where all the insides of things have to fit in the outsides of things, and it's like this. That is already a monumental task, and having a metric for all the characters to fit is part of how we make that task manageable. If we have to continuously go back and adjust doorways and hallways and the height of drawers and retarget animations and everything because characters are different heights and stuff like that, it becomes a far greater task for what is essentially not enough return. It's goes back to that priority stuff we do. There are just so many other things that collectively, I think we want more, that we need more, that is just a better use of time than allowing somebody to be an inch or two higher or an inch or two wider, and all the knock-ons that have through the entire universe. So this is not me saying never, because geez, I've been with this project long enough to know never say never. But I think we can safely say it's not in the cards at this time. Let's see. What else you got? Will you appear at CitizenCon? We tried to have Damien appear at CitizenCon. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it to work with scheduling, flights and stuff like that. So we did have a presentation building for him, and I think we'll probably find a place to do it later, or earlier in the new year, probably. You know, it's CitizenCon. I mean, CitizenCon, when you come down to it, is essentially, in a gross oversimplification of it, it's an entire season of ISC just dumped into one half afternoon. So there's nothing to say that if we couldn't fit something in, we're always pulling stuff out of ISC and pulling stuff out of SEL and to put into CitizenCon, and that's why some of you may have noticed the annual Q3 drought that affects All-Star Citizen programming every year. It's, it is what it is. There's nothing to say we can't pull things the other way, too. So we are currently talking about some of the ideas we had for CitizenCon that we weren't able to put together because of logistics or whatever, and maybe revisiting them, not having to wait another year, and looking into them in like the early parts of next year and stuff. So again, it's not a promise of any specific action. That is just an acknowledgement that we're having those discussions and stuff right now. Mostly we just have to get past this CitizenCon, and then we can open our brains to what we're going to do in the next 6 months. Jared's favorite snack is Honest Burger. That's true.
I like burgers. Nice.
Yes, I'm a burger person. Devil Ducky 611 has a question that is probably close to the hearts of many players. Hairstyles. Anything you can give us new, especially not to put too blunt a point on it, for female characters that aren't these butch military cuts that we've just taken from Squadron, and anything that shows a broader range of cultures would be much appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can say it. Like in 2 weeks, we're gonna have like a hair specialist that's gonna start at CIG for like specifically hair. So that's gonna happen definitely. We're gonna like concept hairstyle and stuff like that, and see like the technicality of doing those hair, because we all know that hair in games is really complicated. So but like the material, I know like one of the artists worked on hair, on the shader and stuff, and it looks really amazing. So now we need like a hair specialist that's gonna work and then design all those different hairstyles. It's gonna come like at least we have like someone that has a lot of experience on that. Worked on so many games and like about hair and stuff. So I'm confident you're gonna be happy.
You said this person starts in 2 weeks, so we can expect delivery in like 4 weeks after that.
Yeah, I hope.
Everybody go to Reddit.
You know how it is.
Disco says new hair in 6 weeks. Mischievous asks, any chance Jumptown will become a more permanent and frequent event? Mischievous, I'm gonna get. We're talking with our lead character artist from our partners in Turbulent in Montreal. I don't think he would have any insight in that. I don't have any insight either. But I mean, it's already more frequent than it used to be. So,
when was the last time?
Jumptown?
That was it. Yeah,
I don't remember. I don't remember. We have a lovely and wonderful community team of people like Tyler and Galactica and Ulf and Christian and somebody else that starts with a J, and they track that stuff so that I don't have to. And when I ask a question, they tell me, "Wow, wow, Jake Acapella, wow." I just wanted to see if you're still watching. Just want to see if you're still here, Jake. Told you this is going to be a different kind of show. I'm in a snarky mood. Any thought about creating wear and tear on armor and clothing? Oh yeah, we've had many conversations about that. I don't know where we've ended. I mean, I know it's something we absolutely want, but I don't.
Yeah.
What you got?
I think one of the principle for us is working. He worked on this like during this summer. I think he's still working on this for the wear and tear. He developed like a new material as well, like the Player Blade V2, another version. So like it's probably gonna come one day. I'm not like the guy who's doing it, so I can't say anything. But for sure, that's something we all want.
So as a follow up to the hair specialist, is that going to include looking at beards or facial hairs of any kind?
Yeah, we want that too, of course. Yeah, we're gonna look into that too.
Okay. Let's see, Scum. Oh, I thought you were calling me Scum. Scum just got their female update. Yikes, CIG, you need to check that out. Armor that is appropriate to the bodies and compliant and updated to current U.S. military specs. Well, I don't know that we'd want to use current specs. We're 940 years in the future, but the point is taken. Check out Scum, he says. Look at what they're doing. Yeah, questions. I just see a bunch of facial hair and stuff like that. So you're building a team right now. So folks, I don't know, not everybody keeps up with the monthly reports and stuff where a lot of the nitty gritty stuff kind of gets moved. But the existing character team we had was some time ago, earlier in this year, was basically split in two, and half were sent sequestered, punished, imprisoned under Jeremiah Lee to work on Squadron 42, and then a portion of them stayed with the PU, but of course at half strength that needs to be built back up. That's one of the reasons we brought Damien in. So one of the jobs that you've been doing for the last 6 months is building up your character team. How's that been going?
Pretty good. Actually, we started with like two character artists here in Montreal. One of them is we work together. He worked at Behavior with me on Dead by Daylight. His name is Camille. The other one is Jeremy. Jeremy was like fresh out of school, super talented, and so we have those two first. We have like Christophe, who is like the concept artist, senior concept artist. We worked together in the past as well on Dead by Daylight. He's super talented as well. It's gonna help a lot on all the process and stuff. And like slowly now, I really wanted to have like that core team here in Montreal, knowing all the process, the pipeline, and get into like all the constraint, all the technicality we have for the game, and be super like knowing all those constraints, and then slowly starting hire more people. So we have another artist that is from the LA, Eric, and then we have Pietro from UK. That we're working all together, even with the time frame difference. We are still. It's working cool. It's working super fine with all of them. So yeah, I mean, right now we are like searching. Like we just like post like a character offer last week for Montreal studio. So we'll see. Like we're receiving some applications. So but slowly. I think for the end of the year, I would like to have like probably at least one person more. Two would be good. Would be really cool. Cool in Montreal, and then I mean it's gonna be Christmas times and stuff. So like nobody changed at that time normally. So it's gonna start probably February, March next year. But the team will grow for sure a lot.
We are almost out of time, so we'll just do a couple more questions, and we can let you get on with stuff. Whenever we talk to artists and stuff like that, it's I always like to talk about inspirations, because I think one of the best ways to build an expectation of the kind of stuff that this person will eventually deliver is by understanding a little bit more about the things that they enjoy, what they bring with them to their art. So, what would you say your inspirations are?
It's a hard one, man.
I know, it's why I asked. It's going to fill up at least 5 minutes, I figure. So I'm just going to click here and leave you there, and I'm gonna take off and let you this. Okay, what are Damien's inspirations? And go. I'll be right back.
Oh my god. Okay, I don't know, man. There is so many things that can be used for inspiration. Movies, video games. I don't know. There is so many. I don't have like a specific one. I think there is a lot of things that we can take from a lot of art, a lot of like mediums. So hard to say. Really hard to say. And
I'm not back yet. Keep going.
Yeah, I see you.
So fine. Then last question, and we'll wrap up for the day. Jeremiah Lee was our previous lead character artist at the PU. He was a concept artist. He just draws little 2D stuff on paper. You're the new lead character artist, and you're a 3D artist. You sculpt and create in a dream world of magic. What other ways are you better than Jeremiah Lee?
How it can be better than Jeremiah? So awesome. I don't know. Okay, I sculpt, but other things, hobbies. I don't know. I did taekwondo.
You do taekwondo? Oh, he does. He's doing.
Yeah, I did that.
Is he doing taekwondo? He's doing some martial arts now. Yeah, I don't. Remember.
Jeremiah too.
Yeah, I don't remember which one. All right, so folks, that's it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out with us for the last 50 some odd minutes. If you haven't kept up with things, we are in our CitizenCon corridor. We no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No hiding behind trees. If you follow the project for any period of time, quarter three is a shaky and interesting period for our video content. There's only ever so many stories to tell at any given time. Only so many things that are ready to show. To show, and we take an entire season of stories and dump them in a single afternoon, which we do at CitizenCon every single year. Those stories come from someone. So I hope you've enjoyed the content this year. This quarter. We are coming back with our last ISC before CitizenCon next week. It's a special episode. We are doing a new kind of follow-up show where we are going to retouch on all the major features of this quarter and show you how they've changed since we first covered them in ISC, and answer the most pressing questions that you guys had in the comments after each segment. So it's a look back at all the features that are in 3.18 and answering a whole bunch of questions that you guys had about those features, such as what happens when you shoot your hull scrapers at a living ship, and where do the PTVs and the arena racetrack come, and what do I want to salvage if I don't want to be in combat, and all kinds of neat new stuff. So check that out next week on ISC. Remember that 3.18 is now not only this quarter's patch, but it is also the IAE patch. So it is not arriving until somewhere around the beginning of November. That means when ISE comes back from hiatus, we will still be in our 3.18 window. So that's when you can expect us to talk about a cargo refactor and the remaining features that are in 3.18. Basically, it was the choice between do it next week and show you this much of it, or do it when we come back and show you this much, and we opted to show you more. So we'll be back from hiatus with that. And then, of course, remember to tune in right back here on Twitch on October 8th at 8 a.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. UTC for our Digital CitizenCon 2952. We've got a whole host of new presentations and everything to show. A planetary pyro, which is just what you think it is, and a little bit more. A look at a brand new type of, a whole new form of mission that is coming to the PU that eschews violence and combat for deductive reasoning and hunting clues and stuff like that with investigations. We got the newest info from the flight experience team. They've been sequestered in the Squadron 42 branch, and they are coming out from their work on Squadron 42 to give you all some news that I think you're very much going to want to hear. And then the resource management, which for my money it's basically the answer to how everything from space stations to player homesteadings to eventually those big capitalist ships that I know you all want to play around. This is the answer to make all of those things possible. So check that out. And a couple of neat little things in between. I'm not spilling any tea. This is what's on the thing. Why'd you start a raid? You're starting a raid. I'm not done yet. Well, apparently got a raid. All right, you got a raid, Anna. Bye. I was not done. They started the raid. Fine. I was going to tell you the big secret, but now it's gone. He started the raid. Oh, now you unrated. Okay. Well, what was I going to say? Now I don't remember. Sorry, everybody. I was on a roll. I was about to reveal the big secrets, and then I saw Jake had triggered the raid, and I got distracted, and I thought I didn't have time. Now I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, well. Oh. I remember. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Such a jerk.